Tony Stark. I build neat stuff. I got a great girl. And occasionally, save the world. So why can't I sleep?
The Mandarin must be stopped.
You don't know who I am. You'll never see me coming.
What are you going to do about these attacks?
The whole world's gonna be watching.
The question, where is Tony Stark?
Things are different now. I have to protect the one thing that I can't live without. That's you. Mr. Stark.
Today is the first day of what's left of your life. I'm gonna offer the choice. Do you want an empty life or a meaningful death?
You're not a man. You're nothing more than a maniac. I'm not afraid of you. No politics here. Just good old-fashioned revenge.
Hey guys, Adam here. Welcome to another On the Couch Rewind. Today's movie is Iron Man 3. So we are almost done with this. Almost. So, let's see. Iron Man 3. This movie is very divisive among fans. It really is. Some people like it. I mean, some people think it's the best in the Iron Man franchise. Some say it's the second best. Some say it's the worst. Me? I'm actually in the middle. I think it's the second best. I really do like this movie. So the plot is it's Christmas time and Tony Stark is not the same as he used to be. He's not sleeping, he's having panic attacks, he's having flashbacks to the Battle of New York. And he's constantly building armor, like new armor. Meanwhile, a terrorist known as the Mandarin is constantly blowing up areas in America, and so Tony has to stop him after Happy Hogan is severely wounded in a Mandarin attack. But not all of it is what it seems. And that seems to be everyone's problem, though, is this movie did something different. This movie chose not to fall under the tropes of the rest of the movies, really. And I commend him for that. I mean, first off, I've already said my piece about Shane Black. I like Shane Black. Shane Black's an excellent writer. He's a really good director. So him doing this movie, first off, it feels like a Shane Black movie. I mean, it's a buddy cop movie, basically. This entire movie is a buddy cop movie. But it's about Tony Stark. It's called Iron Man 3, but it's pretty much Tony Stark trying to see who is the real persona here, Iron Man or him. And I like it. I really like how they did this. I like how this was written, how it was directed. But going back to the divisiveness here, it just seems it took risks with characters and made it interesting. Like I said, Shane Black wanted to do something different with this, and he did, and it didn't sit well with people. And I'll get to one of the big reasons why later. First off, Tony Stark, this was another thing. Apparently people complained about Tony not being himself, not acting all geniusy and whatnot. And I'm going to say what Erod said. Tony is a genius at building things. Tony is a genius when it comes to technology. He's a very impulsive prick. He makes mistakes. That's the other thing. That's the whole point of this movie. He even says in the narration, he has created demons in his past. It's a mistake he has to rectify. Yes, he is different now. He has changed, but he's still impulsive. So the very fact that he told a terrorist where his address was really does fit his character. So it never bothered me. And the fact that they had him have PTSD from the Battle of New York was fine. Why? Because he almost died. I can only imagine what that's like. Pepper Potts, Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts, a lot of fun. I do enjoy her. I wish she was in the movie more, but they give her enough screen time to really make you root for her when she goes all badass, which was a lot of fun. Rhodey's not even Rhodey's in it. Don Cheadle is still fun. This is where the buddy cop aspect comes in, is when Tony and Rhodey are together. And it's a lot of fun because you see these two interact with one another, having adventures, having fun. And it's fun. It really is. Just seeing this chemistry between the two. Don Cheadle, like I said, Don Cheadle is War Machine. Don Cheadle was a much better choice. The new characters, like Guy Pearce as Aldrich Killian and Rebecca Hall as Maya Hansen. Let me go ahead and get Maya Hansen out of the way. She's there. That's it. She's just kind of the MacGuffin in a way. She's the one that kind of sets the idea of the whole extremist program, which is basically a super soldier program that Aldrich Killian tries to perfect, but it backfires and makes people explode if they reject it. And she's kind of there, really. She's not even that good of a character. And it just kind of baffles me because a character like this could have had potential where she's torn between allowing terrible things happen to further her research, or doing the right thing and not letting this research go on any further. And it just felt rushed. It felt rushed with this character, and when she died, I didn't give a shit. I really didn't. I didn't even care for this character. Guy Pearce, on the other hand, is fucking fun. Guy Pearce owns this role. I've said it before and I'll say it again. This guy's intimidating. This guy is terrifying. And he's just fun. He's rolling with... He's enjoying this role. He's just kind of hamming it the fuck up. And it's worth every single second he's on screen. It really is. And of course, to get to the big problem, Ben Kingsley as the Mandarin, or Trevor Slattery, as he's really called. This is the part that really, really pissed fans off. I am not one of them. Alright, So let me tell you what went down. What happened was Ben Kingsley was cast as the Mandarin. We were finally gonna get the Mandarin, which is awesome because I was hoping we'd get the Mandarin. Always get the Mandarin. And they marketed him as the Mandarin. They marketed Ben Kingsley as this Bin Laden looking motherfucker. And he looked really good. He looked scary. Hell, even the trailer showed him as scary. He's like, "You'll never see me coming." It was really chilling because Ben Kingsley is an amazing actor. Then the movie came out. And they threw us for a loop by revealing that the Mandarin doesn't exist. That the Mandarin was a product of AIM, Advanced Idea Mechanics, Audrey Killian's think tank, or as comic book nerds know, AIM is like the usual kind of organization that Iron Man fights anyway. They'll always wear the hazmat suits, which I really would have liked, but for this kind of movie, it wouldn't have fit well, so I let it slide. But the thing about this is, turns out, like I said, the Mandarin doesn't exist. Ben Kingsley's character was an actor posing as a terrorist, and people got pissed. And I don't mean just mad, and I don't mean just pissed. I mean pissed. I've heard everything. Everyone just got mad. I mean, people got. The only other movie I can think of that made people even more divisive is Man of Steel. That's the only other movie I can think of that came out in 2013 that really pissed people off. More than Iron Man 3. But here's the thing. Shane Black, this was his plan, and he executed it well. He knew what he was going for. He was basically saying this movie is about anonymity. This movie reflects kind of the war on terror. Do we know who's a terrorist? Do we know who's the good guy, who's the bad guy? That's basically what he was going for. Because the main villain is Guy Pearce, who is kind of is very much a Lethal Weapon villain. He is. He's a lot of fun. But back to Ben Kingsley. When people found out that Ben Kingsley's character was just an actor, he goes from terrifying to this sad, tiny little British man, drunk off his ass, with this high-pitched British accent, being just completely oblivious of everything. And I'll get to that bit when I do the one shot. And I'm perfectly fine with it. I thought it was well executed. I thought it was very funny with this reveal. This reveal was hilarious to find out that the guy that caused all this misery was just an actor. That's it. I was perfectly fine with it. Because here's the thing. Here's my argument here. One, again, I'm going to go with Erod on this. The Mandarin wasn't even in the movie. He wasn't. He wasn't even there. I mean, I'll explain more when I do the one shot that involves Ben Kingsley's character. But the Mandarin was not in this movie. He just wasn't. And the other thing is, the Mandarin is a product of his time. The Mandarin represented the Asian communists, like especially North Korea, or I'm sorry, China. He basically represented communism in Asia. That was what he was. They couldn't do that in this movie because it wouldn't have worked. So they had to go with a terrorist, but they went with something that no one had the balls to do, and that was to make it turn out that he's not the real villain, but instead a patsy, a fall guy. That's what he was. And the real villain was an American, played by an Australian. And it worked. It worked completely well with what Shane Black was doing, and I enjoyed it. I thought it worked, again, like I said, it worked well with this version of Iron Man, basically. This entire version of Iron Man. And I feel like that's what pissed fans off, because they were hoping to get the Mandarin. They didn't get the Mandarin because he wasn't even in the movie, and they decided to get mad at this. And I feel like that's a good chunk of why. That's really the real reason why people hate this movie. Like usually that's the argument I hear is like, oh, this movie sucks because they fucked up the Mandarin. It's like, well, you know what? I've seen good movies before where they fuck up characters, and I still like those movies despite them screwing the character up or not doing it the way the book does it. There are plenty of movies like that. I am perfectly fine with how they treated them, how they portray the Mandarin in this. So, yeah, I mean, the Mandarin is a product of his time. And again, he's not even in it. He's not in it, technically. Oh god. Action scenes are a lot of fun. They are. I mean, and they're different this time because it's not Tony flying around in a suit most of the time fighting bad guys. It's Tony on the run without his suit, having to rely on his brain. And that's something I really like, is that Tony, it shows how smart Tony can be. Yes, he's impulsive, he's irrational, he is irresponsible, but he is still smart. He can still get out of a situation. He did it in a cave. I mean, he did it when he was captured. He was able to get out of it because he's smart. That's something I really liked. It showed that Tony doesn't always need the armor to save the day. Sorry. And so yeah, that. And I really did like it because it felt like a buddy cop movie. It felt like a Shane Black movie. Hell, it felt like a movie I would watch back in the 80s or 90s. It was that well edited. It felt like a different kind of movie. It didn't feel completely like a Marvel movie. And hell, it even had like very Shane Black-ish comedy in it. Again, really laughing hard at this. I mean, granted, like, yeah, some people say, oh, there's too much comedy in it. It's like, no. Wait till we get to Thor: Dark World. Oh God. One of my favorite scenes is when Tony jumps out of Air Force One to save like 13 people falling to the ground after being sucked out of the plane. That was really cool because the majority of it was real. Those people that got sucked out of the plane were skydivers. What you were seeing were people pretending to fall by being skydivers. That is awesome. Like, a good chunk of that was actually rather practical. And I liked it. I really did. That was a really exciting scene. I'm trying to think. Like I said, the humor is very good. The comedy is very good. It doesn't feel it doesn't like outstay its welcome. It's there when it needs to be. Now, granted, it's more comedy than drama, but for this kind of movie, it's bound to happen. It's going to be there. So what the hell do you expect? I'm back with margarita with Mr. Spock. Actually, it's kind of fitting drinking a margarita and reviewing Iron Man, honestly. Gotta get used to the salt, though. So, anyway, back to the review. Alright, so, deleted scenes. Not really necessary. However, these deleted scenes are a little different because they actually feel like behind the scenes deleted scenes. Like they show the clapboard in between takes. They show they composite each deleted scene, depending on what it is, into a composite of different takes. And I actually kind of like that. I do like deleted scenes like that quite a bit. I'll say this, while I didn't find any deleted scenes that wouldn't have been, that would have worked in the movie, I did still find them very entertaining. I really did. Like I said, the composite of different takes was fun. One of my favorites, though, was they did extended scenes of in the movie, when they reveal Iron Patriot, they show media personalities giving their take on this. Like they did it in the first movie, they did it in the second movie. Like the first movie was what's his fucking name? If you've seen Iron Man, you know who I'm talking about. The second one had Bill O'Reilly. I gotta give him props though. Like he's willing to make fun of himself. He knows who he is. So as much as I can't stand him, I gotta give him. I give him respect for that. I give any man who can make fun of himself and be aware of why people don't like him, and take it in stride. I can completely respect that. In this one, they had Bill Maher, Bill Maher and Joan Rivers. I watched the extended version and first off, I'm not a big Bill Maher fan. I find him funny at times when he's not grating. Religious. Yeah, it's pretty much 90 minutes of him being an asshole to every religion. But it's funny. He can be very funny. Here he's Bill Maher. He's not trying to be funny. He's just being Bill Maher, the serious liberal. Which, granted, I am, but I'm not Bill fucking Maher either. And then the other one is Joan Rivers. Being Joan Rivers. I actually laughed at this one. I'm not a big Joan Rivers fan. I never really was. But then again, I grew up with Joan Rivers, the fashion police Joan Rivers. That's who I sadly grew up with. But here I was watching this and I was actually cracking up. And I'm just kind of wondering how much of this was scripted. How much of this was Shane Black and Drew Pearce writing this? Or was this actually Joan Rivers ad-libbing this, saying, being told, okay, this is what you need to say, and she just ad-libbed the rest of it. She just improv'd the whole thing, and because some of those laughs were genuine. And it was funny. It was really funny. Like I said, these scenes are really good. Now they did show scenes where they showed Harley's bully. Now I forgot to mention Harley is the little kid in the movie. and they mention him having a bully. Well, in the deleted scenes they showed the bully. The bully. I'm glad they took this out. Now, they did make it very suspenseful when that bully showed up where Savin, James Badge Dale, if I'm saying that right, like melts the water tower and floods the area, and the bully gets caught in it. And so when Tony like beats Savin and gets himself out of the rubble, out of the debris, he goes to try and find the kid, the bully. Harley has already saved the bully. The bully's unconscious. He's got water in his lungs. So Tony does something kind of amazing. He pulls his arc reactor out, takes the wire from his leftover repulsor array, wraps it around his fingers, and uses it as a defibrillator, which almost kills Tony. That scene is completely unnecessary and would have just killed the pacing of this movie. But it's really, really well done and really suspenseful. And it also kind of makes sense as to why Harley said, "You're welcome for what? For saving your life." That makes sense. But I'm perfectly fine. But I'm glad they left it out. It wasn't 100% necessary. So yeah, like those deleted scenes weren't really necessary, but they were entertaining. I really enjoyed them. One of the but yeah, honestly, but yeah. Oh yeah, and Jon Favreau's in it too. I almost forgot, but he's not in it long. He's like the reason why Tony goes to hunt down the Mandarins, because Happy gets injured. But you know what? Sometimes I do kind of like it when Jon Favreau's not in a movie he's directing, because he really does do good. He's given more screen time in this than he has in the other one. It's not, granted, it's understandable since he's not directing it. But here he's given a director who also understands comedy, and so he's given some pretty funny lines. And that's the other thing. Like I said, the humor is funny. The humor is great. The one-liners are fun. Like my favorite line is when Tony is fighting Ellen Brandt, who is another extremist agent, or AIM agent, and he just says, it's like, "You walked right into this one, honey. I dated hotter chicks than you." And she just said, and she's like walking through fire, and she's on fire and shit, but healing, and she just goes, it's like, "Is that it? A cheap trick and a cheesy one-liner?" And he just went, "Sweetheart, that could be the name of my autobiography," and just runs away. And I'm thinking, okay, that's actually my favorite line. That there is my favorite line. Now, special effects, again, really good. Really good. The armor is great. All the armors look great. When you see all these 30-something suits of armor fly in all at once, you're just like, oh my god, this shit is happening. Like, it feels like the other thing about this movie is it feels smaller than the last movie, but it's still very much a summer blockbuster. It's not like Shane Black realizes, oh, I don't want to outdo the first movie or the second movie. I'm going to make it a little more contained, a little more personal, and he does that very well. But yeah, the special effects, like I said, are really good. The armor looks great. The extremist special effects weren't bad either, especially with the healing and whatnot. where they're like regrowing limbs and toes and shit. It's like, oh god. So I was really impressed with the special effects. They've really outdone themselves in this. So yeah, like I said, there are problems with this movie. There are, but not so much that I hate that I'm not gonna hate it. Like I said, how they did the Mandarin, I liked it. I thought it was smart. I thought it was well done. So what am I gonna give this score? Final score for Iron Man 3 is an 8 out of 10. I think this movie is very well done. This movie is really good. It really does kind of redeem Iron Man 2, even though I still liked it. So I'm not going to be mad over it at all. So yeah, that's about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this online because I have 3 more movies I have to review before I see Age of Ultron, which is very soon. So I will see you guys next time when I review the sequel to the debut of the God of Thunder, Thor: The Dark World. I'll see you all next time. You all have a wonderful evening. Bye.